The most dangerous conversation you'll ever have is the one your brain has with you. Think about the promise you made to yourself this week, going back to the gym, sending that job application, starting the side project you've been talking about for months. The task didn't disappear. So why did you? Here's what makes this so dangerous. The voice that says, "Not today," doesn't sound like fear. It sounds practical. It sounds responsible. It sounds exactly like you. That's why almost nobody questions it. Your brain would rather protect today's comfort than build tomorrow's life. And that's the part most people never notice. Your brain isn't trying to ruin your future. It's trying to keep you away from uncertainty. The problem is, the same instinct that once helped humans survive can quietly stop you from growing. When this video ends, you may never hear the words, "I'll do it tomorrow," the same way again. Because you've never been fighting procrastination. You've been negotiating with your own brain. So if procrastination isn't laziness, what is it? Imagine it's Sunday evening. Your laptop is open. The application you've been meaning to finish is right in front of you. You know exactly what to do. You even know it would only take 20 minutes. But instead, you suddenly remember the dishes. You check your phone. You answer a text that could have waited. Then somehow, an hour disappears. That doesn't happen because your brain can't focus. It happens because your brain is trying to solve a different problem. When a task carries uncertainty, the possibility of failure, or the fear that your work won't be good enough, your brain quietly labels it as a threat. So before you even realize what's happening, it starts searching for anything that feels safer. Psychologists call this emotion-focused avoidance. Your brain isn't asking, "What's most important?" It's asking, "How do I feel safe right now?" That's the real battle. You want progress. Your brain wants comfort. That's why cleaning your room suddenly feels urgent. Replying to emails feels productive. Even organizing your desktop can feel strangely important. Your brain isn't choosing the task with the greatest reward. It's choosing the one with the smallest emotional risk. So here's the question. If your brain keeps protecting your comfort, who's protecting your future? Because procrastination was never really about managing time. It was about managing emotion. And until you understand that, your brain will keep winning without a fight.
But your brain has another strategy, one that's even harder to notice. It doesn't just protect you from uncomfortable work. Sometimes, it convinces you that you'll become a completely different person tomorrow. Think about Sunday night. You tell yourself, "Tomorrow I'll wake up early. I'll hit the gym before work. I'll finally finish that presentation. I'll stay off my phone." Tomorrow's version of you feels disciplined,
Focused, motivated, almost unstoppable. But when tomorrow becomes today, that version never seems to arrive. Why? Because your brain isn't planning for tomorrow. It's protecting today. Psychologists call this the present bias. Your brain naturally places more value on comfort that's available right now than rewards that only exist in the future. That's why watching just one more episode or checking social media for just 5 minutes can suddenly feel more important than finishing the project that could change your career. Not because those choices matter more, but because your brain can enjoy them immediately. Here's the trap. Your future self can only make promises. Your present brain controls the vote, and your brain almost always votes for immediate comfort. So every time you tell yourself, "I'll start tomorrow," your brain quietly translates it into something else. Keep me comfortable today. That's the battle almost nobody realizes they're fighting. You are trying to build a better future. Your brain is trying to avoid discomfort. And those are rarely the same goal, which leaves one uncomfortable question. If your brain keeps protecting today, who's protecting the person you'll become tomorrow? But procrastination has one final trick, and this one is dangerous because it feels exactly like progress. Have you ever spent 30 minutes organizing your workspace, color-coding your calendar, or setting up the perfect productivity app instead of actually starting the work? It feels responsible. It feels productive. It even feels like you're moving forward. But are you? Your brain has a clever way of replacing difficult progress with comfortable progress. Psychologists call this productive procrastination. Instead of avoiding work completely, your brain quietly swaps the important task for an easier one that gives you the feeling of accomplishment. You organize your Notion workspace, clear your inbox, watch one more productivity video, read one more article. Your brain rewards every one of those actions, not because they move your future forward, but because they keep you away from the uncertainty of beginning. And that's the illusion. You believe you're making progress. Your brain is simply keeping you busy. Your brain isn't asking, what's most important? It's asking, what's most comfortable while still making me feel productive? That's why someone can spend hours preparing, without creating anything, learning, without applying, planning, without beginning. So here's the real question. Are you building your future, or just building a better excuse to delay it? Because your brain's favorite disguise is making procrastination look exactly like progress. And that's the next illusion you have to learn to recognize. But there's one more reason your brain keeps winning. It knows exactly how to make tomorrow feel safe. By convincing you, there will always be another chance. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, I'll have more time this weekend. Next month will be less busy. I'll start when life finally slows down. It sounds reasonable, almost intelligent, until you realize you've been telling yourself the same story for months, sometimes years. Psychologists call this the planning fallacy. Your brain consistently underestimates how long things will take, while overestimating how much time and motivation your future self will have. That's why people believe they'll write the business plan next weekend, study harder before the exam, or finally organize their finances during the holidays. But when that future arrives, it looks almost exactly like today. Busy, unpredictable, full of distractions. Nothing changed, except the date on the calendar. Here's the part your brain doesn't want you to notice. Every time you postpone something, your brain quietly borrows time from the person you'll become tomorrow. And eventually, tomorrow runs out of time too. So ask yourself one honest question. Are you really waiting for the right moment? Or has your brain simply become an expert at selling you a future that never arrives? Because the most dangerous lie procrastination ever tells isn't, don't do it. It's, you'll have plenty of time later. There's one last move your brain makes, and most people never realize it's happening. It quietly convinces you that you need to feel motivated before you begin. Think about the last time you said, I just don't feel like it today. It sounds honest. It sounds reasonable. But what if your brain has the order completely backwards? Most people believe this. Motivation comes first. Action comes second. But psychology shows something very different. More often, action creates motivation, not the other way around. Think about the days you almost skipped the gym. The hardest part wasn't the workout, it was putting on your shoes. The hardest part of writing isn't writing, it's opening the document. The hardest part of making a difficult phone call is dialing the first number. Once you begin, your brain starts collecting evidence that the task isn't as threatening as it imagined, and something surprising happens. Resistance begins to fade. Momentum quietly takes its place. That's because your brain wasn't waiting for motivation. It was waiting for proof that you were safe. Here's the battle that's been happening all along. You have been waiting to feel ready. Your brain has been waiting for you to stay comfortable. Only one of them gets to decide what happens next. So ask yourself this: what if the life you've been waiting to build doesn't begin with motivation, but with the first small action your brain has been trying to stop all along? By now, you've probably noticed something. Your brain isn't your enemy, but it isn't always telling you the truth either. Here's its biggest illusion. It makes every difficult beginning feel bigger than it really is. Have you ever put off sending a single email, only to realize it took less than 2 minutes once you finally did it? Or delayed making one phone call, then wondered why you waited all week? Your brain has a habit of magnifying the moment before action. Not because the task is impossible, but because uncertainty always feels larger from a distance. The closer you move toward it, the smaller it becomes. That's why the first step often feels heavier than every step that follows. Your brain wants you to believe, if this feels difficult, it must be the wrong time. But that's rarely true. Most meaningful things in life feel uncomfortable before they become familiar. And that's the choice you've been making over and over again. Not between working and resting, but between believing your brain's prediction or testing it for yourself. Here's one final question. The next time your brain whispers, "Not today," will you believe the voice, or will you finally ask, "What if my brain is wrong?" Because the moment you start questioning that voice is the moment your brain stops making every decision for you. At the beginning of this video, I asked you a simple question. What if the voice inside your head isn't always working in your best interest? Now you know the answer. Your brain wasn't trying to destroy your future. It was trying to protect you from discomfort. The problem is, comfort and growth rarely exist in the same place. From this moment on, every time you hear, "I'll do it tomorrow," pause for just 1 second and ask yourself, is this really my decision, or is my brain making it for me? Because the moment you start questioning that voice, you stop living on autopilot. And that's where real change begins. If you want to understand the hidden psychology behind everyday decisions, welcome to Mind Unlocked. Every video is designed to help you recognize the patterns your brain hides from you, so you can start making decisions with awareness instead of autopilot. And before you leave, here's your challenge. What's one thing you've been putting off that you're going to start within the next 24 hours? Write it in the comments. Then come back tomorrow and tell us if you actually did it. Because the moment you stop believing every story your brain tells you is the moment you start taking your life back.